What is up, Explainer fam? Before we get started, you know the drill. Go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a thing. It seriously helps us out a ton.
All right, let's dive right in. Today we're breaking down a super intense confrontation that went down in Minneapolis. A situation where a moment of pure grief just exploded into a massive political firestorm. So you have Vice President JD Vance arriving to, pay his respects after an unthinkable tragedy, but instead of quiet mourning, he walked straight into a wall of sound. And let me tell you, it was not a welcoming committee.
Yep, that was the message, screamed loud and clear. Do better, shouted directly at the vice president and his wife as they tried to walk into the church. People were beyond furious. So what's the deal here? Why would a visit that's meant to show sympathy be met with so much raw anger? Well, to really get it, you have to rewind the clock just 1 week before Vance's motorcade ever rolled up. So, let's talk about the tragedy behind the anger. This is the heartbreaking event that really set the stage for everything that followed. The scene was a Catholic school in Minneapolis. It was the very first Mass of the school year. I mean, think about that. A moment that's supposed to be hopeful and peaceful, and it just turned into an absolute nightmare. A 23-year-old shooter opened fire on students as they sat in the pews. The quiet of the church, the safety of that community, it was all just shattered in an instant.
2. That's the number that matters most here. 2 children lost their lives. Their names were Fletcher Merkel, who was only 8, and Harper Moisky, who was just 10 years old.
And the horror didn't stop there. On top of the 2 lives tragically lost, another 21 people were injured in the attack. As for the shooter, police confirmed they died at the scene from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. So it's in the shadow of this immense tragedy that the vice president shows up, and his visit immediately becomes a flashpoint for this huge national debate, pitting politicians against protesters. Now officially, Vance's mission was to pay respects. His office said he was there to meet with the victims' families, lay flowers at a memorial, and visit a 12-year-old survivor in the hospital. But for the families and residents gathered outside, paying respects just wasn't enough. Not even close. They had a much more urgent and much more desperate message for him. And the signs they were holding really said it all. You had signs like, "This is your job. Protect our kids." Others said, "Listen to the Pope. End the pandemic of arms." Many questioned his pro-life stance, and, well, let's just say there was also a lot of this, making their frustration impossible to ignore. This whole confrontation really just puts a giant spotlight on this deep, deep political divide about how to respond. It's a story of 2 very different plans, with absolutely no compromise in sight. And the political responses pretty much fell along lines you'd expect. On the Democratic side, you have Minnesota's Governor Walz pushing to call a special session to pass an assault weapons ban. But on the Republican side, you have Vance saying he's not going to tell state lawmakers what to do, while President Trump brought up his idea of arming teachers. And we're talking 2 totally different paths with no middle ground. So after the cameras leave, the motorcade drives off and the protesters go home, what's left? Now what? That really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? The big, loud event is over, but the actual problems, the underlying issues, they are far, far from resolved. It pretty much leaves everyone in a total stalemate. You've got families who are just shattered by grief, you have an outraged community, and you have politicians who are miles and miles apart on any solution. The result of all that? No new laws are even being discussed.
Grief, guns, and gridlock. It's a painful cycle we've all seen before. Intense tragedy, followed by calls for action, which then just slam into a political wall. It leaves all of us with this one huge, lingering question.
There are absolutely no easy answers here, and that's where we want to hear from you. What do you think it takes to break this cycle? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments below, and as always, thanks so much for watching Explainer Fam, and we will see you on the next one.